How am I going to start this video? Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a bit more of a chilled out vibe. I'm sat on the floor, not that you would know that, but well, I'm semi-sat on the floor. I was going to keep it really understated and wear my glasses and be really, but then I went the complete opposite and I put on a red lip. Why am I like this? So today I am going to talk about the topic that it is quite current at the moment, and that topic is anxiety. So I've thought about doing this video for a long time. I didn't really know when was the right time. I didn't really want to do it to be jumping on a bandwagon. I just kind of wanted, I don't know, I guess the time was just going to be right when I spoke about it. And yeah, I just thought, as it was Mental Health Awareness Week the other week, I thought that it would be an appropriate time to start talking about it, really. And I kind of just wanted to talk. I was going to write notes and try and plan it, but I figured that it would be too regimented and that kind of thing. You know, thought it would be a good thing to chat about. So basically in this video, the objectives of the video and what we want to achieve, I just really wanted to talk to you about my anxiety, the anxieties that I have experienced when I first realised that I had anxiety, where I am now, my coping mechanisms. I don't know, I'm just going to ramble to you, and it's going to be probably very rambly. To be fair, going way back, I was always a very anxious baby. Like, as a child, I had complete separation anxiety from my parents. I never wanted to go to nursery, like I never wanted to leave my mum. I still can feel that like pain of when mum would drop me off and I was just there like, please don't leave me. just remember like the sadness of thinking like, why does she not want to hang out with me all day? Like, what have I done? Love me. And to be fair, still just as needy. I'm very fortunate that I've got two parents who have stayed together. I have been through stable schools, like the same school, the same friends. Like, I've not chopped and changed. I've moved house once, and that was traumatic enough for me, and I was 17, and that's when we moved to Guildford. So I don't know I can't really, you know, understand what it's like for kids to have to go through it. So yeah, it's kind of always been like around when I was younger, but I spoke to mum and dad about this, and when I kind of experienced my first panic attack, if you like, and they were surprised it was so late. Yeah, my first kind of, I guess panic attack was, I don't know, I feel like, just feel like there was like anxious moments anyway when I was younger, but not like this. So my first kind of, experience of a panic attack, I remember it very well. It was February 2013, and I was on my way to Paris, and I feel really bad because I didn't know what it was at the time. The person that I was travelling with, they didn't know. I didn't, because I wasn't able to say. So for many reasons I do feel bad about that, but you can't really change that, you know, that's what it was. I remember everything was fine on the day, like everything was cool, and then we got on the train. It was very early from Guildford, had a coffee, and then I just started to feel like, you know, you get it sometimes when you have too much coffee, you get like, you know, you start to get heart palpitations, or you do start to get like that anxiety feeling, like I do anyway. If I have too much coffee, then, you know, it's over. I just started to feel it, and then I remember we got to St Pancras. The point is that I remember feeling sick, like so sick, and I didn't want to get on that train. Like, in the back of my head, I just knew that that I didn't want to get on that train, and it was like a sense of panic. So I obviously got on the train, and I get travel sick anyway, really bad travel sickness, and I felt nauseous, like I was gonna throw, like literally like I was gonna throw up that whole journey. It's a couple of hours, isn't it? It's not, you know, it's not a hop, and I felt like I didn't want to be on it. And then it meant that I felt nauseous when I was there, and like with some meals, like I didn't feel like I could eat properly. I just couldn't finish my food because I felt really sick. Like obviously I enjoyed the trip, like it was such a lovely trip, really enjoyed it, did have a good time, but when we got back to Guildford, the opportunity for me to stay not at home another night came up. So the option was for me to stay with who I went with rather than go home. And I knew that I wanted to go home. Like I needed that comfort, like I needed to be at home. And that was just a pure anxiety thing. Like I felt sick, and then I thought about, oh, I'm gonna go home, that's fine. Then I felt calm. But like I said, obviously, an incredible trip. Like Paris is amazing anyway, but I didn't know that I was a little anxious bean that time. Do you know what, there's a lot of other things going on. This is the thing that it's difficult to ascertain like what it was, because there was a lot of things going on at the time as well, through friendship groups, and like it was not like a nice time. I think it chilled out a bit. Then there was one night out that I drank a little bit too much, and basically I was sick. Like I'd never get sick when I'm drunk. I was very, very unwell. The next day I was worse. Like the next day I was in and out of the toilet all day, throwing up. And I got home, and then obviously once I was like, it was to the point where like I had to be picked up. I couldn't drive my car home because I was being sick so much. And after that, this whole anxiety thing came back. This whole initial anxiety was all around being sick and throwing up and feeling sick. Basically being sick in an unfamiliar environment. Being sick in an environment that's not my home, that's not comfortable, and that's not my comfort zone. That is what that anxiety was all around. After I was sick in not my home for like, you know, the whole day, anytime I went out, like if I went out to a gig and I wasn't staying at home that night, like I started to feel sick. At the time I just thought that I felt sick a lot of the time, and I felt like it was a problem with maybe food, or I don't know, I just wasn't sure like why I was constantly feeling nauseous. But I did know that there was that slight sense of like sick panic. Yeah, really rubbish. Because then it came to the fact that like whenever I would eat, if I then would think about the fact that I wasn't going home or all that kind of stuff, like it would just make me feel sick, and then I wouldn't eat as much. And then it was that summer I got really, really slim, like really skinny, to the point where like people were worried about me. And I don't know, I look back at pictures now and I'm like, oh girl, you were skinny. But it's just because I just felt, you know, if you feel sick every time you eat, you're not going to eat as much. And that's basically what it was. And it's the whole feeling of not being in control of your body when you throw up. And I still now, if I feel sick, I get anxious. Like I get very car sick, and if I feel car sick, like I will shut down, I will go to sleep, because it's that whole panic thing of throwing up in an unfamiliar environment. And yeah, I've always, like when I was younger, before I threw up I would like cry. So I think I've always had, yeah, an anxiety about being sick. This video is so much harder to do than I thought. I was just going to ramble to a camera and it was going to be fine. Like I have planned this in my head so many times. I'm not even feeling anxious today, and it's like difficult. I was on the pill at the time, and because I've had migraines in the past, this is probably like, I don't know, people probably think this is going to be TMI, but too much information. But I believe it's very important to talk about this, because if you are feeling in a certain way and you're feeling anxious, or you're feeling just, you know, not quite right, like something doesn't feel quite right, I want you to think about them and think, oh, maybe that's why I'm not feeling myself recently, you know. It's because I get migraines, or had migraines in the past. There's only two pills that I can take, like contraceptive pills that I can take, and I was on one of them, and then I thought that it was making me feel sick, so I swapped to another one. And then the first one you could take within 12 hours, this one you could only take within 3 hours, which was too much pressure anyway, as it was, and like as a busy person, I think it went away actually. That's like sick anxiety went away. Why it went away, how, I think it just did. But then I was just too like paranoid that I would forget it, because it was only 3 hours that you had to take it. I then switched to the implant, which is a little thing that gets stuck in your arm there, to be exact, because I got a nice little scar on my arm. So there's loads of girls in the country with little scars on their arms here, because of that wretched thing, which I will come on to. So that went away, and then I think it was like around that Easter the following year, I honestly have no idea what triggered it at all. Really, I have no idea. Maybe it was the implant, that's what I'm trying to think. I had another bout of anxiety. So I had the implant put in April 2014. I think it was fine. I honestly think it was fine. I mean, apart from the other side effects, which... Like, boys, you have no idea what we go through. Anyway, I had that put in, fine, like, it messes up your skin, which is going to lower your body confidence anyway, which it did with me. I tweeted 4 years ago saying, anxiety, why do you have to exist, or something like that. It was like, why are you a thing, why do you have to exist? And that was 4 years ago, and that was, you know, like a month or so, a couple months, you know, whatever, after I had the implant put in. So I think that's very interesting. That was the year that I finished my degree, seriously stressful time of my life. So, you know, I can't put that anxiety down to the implant. I also fell out of love with my job. The following year, it came back with a vengeance. Like, I really remember, I wasn't happy bunny. I don't know, I just felt I was very anxious all the time, and I was overthinking everything. Like, a lot of the videos that I do on here, like the editing, I would get too bogged down in the details that no one cares about. But I was also like, you know, I was having a nice like life. People wouldn't have known. I think that's the thing. People really wouldn't have known. Changed jobs. I went from working in a bra shop. I made friends for life there, like it's amazing, but I just fell out of love with the job, and it just wasn't working for me and my music. And then, so now I still work in care. I'm a respite carer. I look after people while their carers have a break. It's really lovely. I get to go to the same families every week. Some I've been going to for 3 years. It's flexible, it works with my music. It's fabulous. I was a lot happier in work. I can't remember when it came on again. Like 2016. So now we're on 2016, and I've still got this wretched implant in my arm. The anxiety just got really, really bad that year, to the point where I would wake up and then the anxiety would hit me like a ton of bricks. You know when something's happened to you or whatever, and you've had like a bad, I don't know, say a breakup or an argument, or something's happened, then you wake up and then you suddenly remember it, and it hits you, doesn't it? And you're just like, ugh. That feeling of like dread suddenly hits you, and you're like, that's still real, that's still a thing. I'd be like, oh, new morning, boom, you're anxious. There would just be this constant like feeling in my tummy of anxiety, and then I would just overthink everything all day. It didn't mean I couldn't get on with my life, like I did things, you know, but it was just not ideal, you know, and it was exhausting as well. It's difficult because when you look back at pictures, you don't always like remember things like anxiety, or if you were ill, or like, you know, if you had a cold. I look back to pictures this time last year and don't think, oh, I had horrific hay fever. I just remember that I have horrific hay fever. Sometimes I remember certain events thinking I was anxious on that event. Basically with the implant, like the side effects, the list is like I think mood, I don't know about mood changes. A couple of people, like my friends, said they didn't get on with it. At the beginning I did get on with it. They said it can make you gain weight. It didn't make me gain weight, thankfully, but it did make my skin go so bad. Like, my skin was the worst it's ever been. Like, it was all under here, and it was just, I mean, oh, it was painful and it was horrible. So I went to the doctors about that. So they put me on these antibiotics for your skin, and I was like, it's fine. So I started taking those. I don't believe I was that anxious at the time, but I started taking these, and then I think that's when the anxiety kicked in again, because that's when it got really bad. I mean, I can't remember exactly, but it came in waves, and I have a feeling it was waves of kind of like 6 months or so. The worst it has been. I'm very thankful that it's not stopped me from doing things. I'm very much a person that I will push myself out of my comfort zone, and if I don't want to do something, I often do it. For an example, one of my best friends lives up in Manchester, Hazel, she's been on my channel before. I was due to go and see her. My train was on the Thursday, and then on the Monday the Manchester attack happened. And my initial reaction was, I can't go, I'm not going to go. I'm too anxious about going after that. And I thought, well, do you know what, I've got to go. I have to, no matter how anxious I'm going to feel, no matter how rubbish I'm going to feel on the way up there. I can't let something like that stop me from living my life. And yeah, granted, like, I was crapping myself on the way up there. I really was. I was like, why am I literally, like, here is danger and you are safe over here and you're going into the danger? I was like, why? But I did it, like, I had to. I can't feel in myself. I'm not saying that if people didn't want to, like, obviously that is their choice, but for me, myself, I would have felt like I'd failed. And I'm not saying that if you let your anxiety stop you from doing things that you have, not at all. For myself, I feel like I would have, you know, I would have let it won, and it's not going to win. I'm very fortunate that it doesn't affect me in terms of my everyday life. I realised that something wasn't right when I was taking this medication, these antibiotics for my skin, and as much as it was clearing my skin up, physically it was helping, but mentally it wasn't, and it was driving me insane. I was so paranoid and I was overthinking everything, and like, oh, just horrific. As I say, like, no one would have known, because I've got a poker face. I looked up online, I looked up the side effects of it, and one of the side effects was anxiety and depression. Very fortunate that I haven't experienced depression. I am a very positive person, okay? I've discovered more and more, like, as life goes on, that I'm a glass half full kind of person. I will always see the better in a scenario, I will always see the positive side. Apart from this cushion! And I'm very forgiving, and, you know, rather than coming up with problems, I'll come up with solutions. And I'm always looking forward to things. I'm very imaginative, and there's a lot going on in my little brain, so I'll always sit there and just, like, think about things that are coming up and good things that are going on in life. But, like, I felt like when I was on these, I didn't have that. I didn't have that spark. I didn't have that excitement for life like I did before, and it was really, I mean, it was depressing in terms of, like, thinking, oh, that's really sad that I didn't, you know, didn't look forward to things, and I was just a bit meh. And I don't know whether that is, you know, if that is a form of depression, I guess, but I just felt really flat. And then, because it was a 3-month course, it went from, I think from maybe November through to January. Because I remember it went over Christmas and New Year, and I just felt trapped, because I was like, I have to finish this course of antibiotics, really, because there's a reason for it and it's helping my skin, and now I know what's making me anxious. I've got to deal with this for another 2 months. Anyway, this is really dragging out a long story, but I went with it, and then I went to the doctors and I was like, I need to get this implant out of me. Because basically I also got given, when I started having this, like, anxiety, and oh, I got it because I went to Edinburgh to see my friend, and we were flying, and I thought I was going to be very anxious flying. So I was given propranolol, which is literally got lol on the end of it. That is a beta blocker, so it's meant to basically reduce your heart rate, chill you out. It was for emergency, so if I was in that panic state that I couldn't get myself out of, then that's the only time I'm going to use it. And like, touch wood, I'm probably going to end up like using it now, but touch wood, I haven't used it in maybe like over a year, which I think is amazing, actually. Yeah, so, oh, that's made me feel happy. Oh, I'm emotional. And I thought, like, I had the implant in me, which was pumping things into my body. Because of the implant, it made my skin bad, so I was taking antibiotics for that, pumping more stuff into my body. And then because of the anxiety, I was then taking propranolol to counteract that, which is putting more things into my body. And I just thought, I need to get everything out of me so that I don't have any chemicals in me, any hormones, like just get it all out. I was at that point where I was like, I need this out of me now. Like I felt so trapped in it, and I was like, this little stick in my arm is like taking over my life. Like, oh, honestly, I mean, if people have had the implant before and it's messed them up, some people, they get on with it, some people it's fine for them, but if you're sensitive to hormones, which is kind of like what I wanted to get onto, I feel like my anxiety started properly when I started taking contraception. When I was pumping these hormones into my body, that was when I was 18, and I truly believe that that is the main cause of it, because the hormones, it increases your levels of, is it cortisol? Chemical in body that causes stress. Because I'm feeling it right now, trying to find it. It's cortisol. It's what my friend Hannah actually said to me. So if you're pumping that more into your body, which is increasing your cortisol levels, like, of course you're going to get stressed, which is going to lead to stress and anxiety. And long and short of it is, I got that wretched thing out of my body last year. It's a bit of a journey, and I might have missed things out, I might have forgotten, but so where I'm at now is I feel very happy in life. I feel like since I had that implant out, a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. A lot of big changes happened in my life last year, and a lot of things I'm doing now for myself. I'm putting myself first a lot more, and I feel like with a lot of my anxiety is, for people who know me will know, and probably, to be fair, people who don't know me will know anyway, I am a complete workaholic. I work Tuesday to Thursday, and then Mondays and Fridays, like today's a Friday and I'm filming, and I will spend my weekends, I know I will socialise, but I will also be editing and filming and writing and, you know, sorting out band practice, sorting out filming, going to the studio, lots of different things. So basically, like, I don't give myself time off. And that was a lot of my anxiety. And when you're feeling anxious already, you're overthinking everything as it is, and everything's on high alert, and, you know, your mind's going at 110 miles an hour. And I would sit down and be like, this is a whole thing with me, is I should have, should be, should have. Should is a toxic word. Like, should is such a toxic word. I would sit there and be like, I should be editing. You know, like, someone wanted to hang out. Say, like, I actually didn't want to hang out. I just wanted to sit at home and watch TV. I didn't say that. I didn't do it because I felt bad. I went and hung out with them because I thought I should have been doing that. And granted, like, I still had a nice time and I would still enjoy myself, but actually deep down what I wanted to do was sit and watch TV and be in all evening and relax. But instead I thought, oh, I should do that because otherwise I feel bad because I let them down. But I'm not putting myself first then. My workload, like, I will sit and write a list for myself of things to do, and if I don't get that list done, like, I would beat myself up. I was making unrealistic jobs for myself to do in a day. I would sit there and be like, right, well, I want to record this, and then I want to edit this video, and then I want to do this. And it's like, you're not going to get that all done in a day. I know what speed I work at. I know I can film, edit and upload a video in a day if I want to, but it's hard work. It's tough. It's enjoyable, but it's not as enjoyable as doing it at a more relaxed pace. I would just beat myself up because I wasn't doing things that I thought I should be doing, you know, and setting myself unrealistic goals, unrealistic targets in a day, and beating myself up too much. So now what I do is I don't set myself unrealistic goals. I accept that it's okay if I don't want to do something, you know, if I actually want to just sit and relax of one evening. If someone wants to do something and I say I'm not free on whatever day because actually I just want to have a day, an evening for myself, I would feel bad because actually all I was doing was sitting at home. But that's just as important because, you know, it's like self-care and you need that time to recoup, you need that time to process, especially like there is so much going on in my life, and I'm sure I know there's so much going on in everyone's life, that you need time to just sit and just need time to breathe and just relax. For me, things that really help me if I'm feeling stressed or anxious or whatever is going to the gym. I found that over the bank holidays, ironically on Mental Health Awareness Week, I was anxious and I didn't know why, and I thought, oh, here we go again. That's my initial thought, was here we go again, I'm going back down this whole route. But actually, I sat there and I thought, right, okay, so let's think what you've got going on this week. I had a gig on the Friday and I needed to organise everyone, and obviously like it's, you know, it's a big day and I don't have, you know, like a big team around me. It's literally just the Dormans and then the band, and like that's it, it's just us. Everything's pretty much on my shoulders. It's quite overwhelming, it's quite a lot to organise everyone, make sure everyone gets there on time, and you know, we do everything. And then the next day was the royal wedding. It was actually Mum who suggested I did that video, so props to you, because a few people had said that I looked like Meghan Markle, so I did the makeup for it. And ever since they got engaged, so like for, I don't know, what, six months or so, I kind of had it in the back, or when people started saying I look like her, I had it in the back of my mind to do it. So that's something that I underestimated, and then it was obviously coming up to it and it was quite a lot of pressure, so I think that was why, you know, I felt anxious. And it was bank holidays. It sounds silly, but I wasn't exercising as much as I had been. Probably drunk more alcohol than I should have. But, you know, alcohol is a depressant. It does affect people's moods. It doesn't always affect me, but sometimes I just think, oh, maybe, you know, that might be a factor to take into consideration. And I just make sure that I give myself time and I don't underestimate things. I think I used to underestimate so much. Like I'd have so much going on and I'd underestimate, like I'd be like, why am I feeling anxious? Why am I feeling this? Well, actually you've got a lot going on. Your brain can only process so much. So where I'm at now with my anxiety is I get anxious about things, but it's more things that your average Joe would get anxious about. I don't wake up with the anxiety that I used to. I don't, you know, like it used to be in the bad phases, I would have more days in a week anxious than not. If I had a day in the week that I wasn't anxious. That's how much I was anxious. So if anyone knew me around that time and thought, oh, I didn't realise you were anxious, well, that's because I should be in the acting industry and not the music industry. No, I'm joking. I know it sounds silly, right? But, and everyone will say, talk about it. Ironically, I will be so anxious putting this video up, even though I think it's important. Admitting it is the hardest part of all, because you kind of feel like you've got a problem, and the more I would speak about it, the more I'd realise that actually everyone is anxious. Like so many people I know, I'd say there's more people who do get anxious than not. I think with everything in this world, you're not the only one that's gonna have it. Even with the rarest conditions in the world, there is someone else with it. Whatever's going on in your mind, there will be someone else with that going on as well. Talking about it is so hard. It is so hard because I didn't admit it for so long, because I didn't know what it was. And I'm the kind of person that I feel like if I admit something, I've given into it. I'm a firm believer that you can wind yourself up into being ill. 100%. Like, I think if you start to get a sniffly nose and you think, oh, I'm so ill, I feel awful, oh, this is it, I'm getting a really bad cold, I think you will get a really bad cold. Or I think if you get a sniffle, you go, that's annoying, but I'm fine, you know. I know we're a culture of brushing it off and being like, I'm fine, it's fine, you know, it's all right, not making a fuss. But there's a difference between, you know, that you can work yourself up into it. So as soon as I'd be like, I'm anxious, that would be like, oh, I've admitted it, that's it now, I am anxious, you know? So I would rather be like, it's fine, it's literally fine, Hannah, you're alright, chill out. But the reality is, honey, that wasn't the case. Yeah, I would generally just like, if I feel anxious, I will tell someone. A lot of my anxiety, I think, is to do with being overwhelmed now. Too many emails to reply to, or like, I know it sounds silly, but when you're anxious, even replying to an email feels like too much. And it sounds so weird to someone who doesn't have anxiety to say that. But if you're feeling anxious, the thought of sitting down and having to think about an email, thinking about how to correctly write it, and then the fact that you're going to overthink it for so long, it's just not worth it. So I think a lot of mine just comes down to being overwhelmed with stuff, really, sometimes, and overwhelmed with too much to do. But that's my own fault, because I give myself too much to do, so actually it's my own fault. So I wanted to talk about this as well because I wrote a song, all comes back full circle, which I have recently released, and I wanted people to know that this song was about my anxiety, but I didn't want to promote it as like, hi, this is an anxiety song, hi. I kind of wanted it to be like, you know how Nothing Compares to You, you know, the song Prince wrote for Sinead O'Connor, nothing compares. You know, it's actually about cigarettes and giving up smoking, and I wanted it to kind of be that kind of thing where it wasn't common knowledge, it was just if you know, you know kind of thing. So my song Hello You is about anxiety, and I wrote it like a year and a half ago, like long time ago. So yeah, if you wanted to go and have a little listen to it, please do, and let me know what you think, and have a listen to it in a different mindset now that you know what it's about. Oh, God, I really think that's everything I wanted to say. I've talked a lot. Oh, well, actually, do you know what? Rescue Remedy is a lifesaver. I started taking Rescue Remedy like morning and night, like before I went to sleep and when I woke up. Whether it was psychological or not, I believe it helped. Don't do that now because, as I say, I'm in a very good place mentally. But yeah, thank you for listening. And if you are struggling with anything at all, just please don't struggle on your own. I feel like I know what it's like not to talk about it. I feel like I know what it's like to be too anxious or scared to admit to it, but I know how amazing it feels, and the relief when you actually tell someone and you realise that they probably are anxious too, which is what I found with everyone that I've spoken to, pretty much, you know. My best friend Lucy, she does a wellness blog about her recovery through her eating disorder that she went through, anxieties, depression, and you know, like having someone like her especially that I can just go to her like, I feel anxious. If I do, like one day, it's amazing that I can just be like that and she'll be like, why? And then like we'll talk about it, and then like a lot of the time I'll feel better. Or I'll say it to my parents, like I'll wake up and be like, oh, I feel anxious today. And they'll be like, why? And they'll be like, I don't know. You know, and then actually when you start to think about it, there normally is a reason why. There's normally an underlying reason, and when you find it and when, you know, you're able to think it through, and then eventually you'll be able to be set free from it, it feels incredible. Also, Headspace, the app, is really good. I listened to it on holiday actually. I wasn't anxious on holiday when I went to Barbados. I wasn't at all actually. I'm a bit of an anxious traveller. I'm an anxious packer. Oh my god, this is why I pack so much. I take so much stuff with me wherever we go, because I just think, what if I need that? What if I need that? What if I need that? What if I need this? What if I need this? What if I need this? You don't need any of it, love. Why am I like this? but I did listen to Headspace on holiday because I can't unwind. I'm really bad at unwinding, really bad at doing nothing, but I'm getting better at it and basically better at giving myself time off. Please, if you are struggling, if you feel sad, write to me, please do. DM me on I'd probably say Instagram is my like most active site. I don't have notifications there, but I check it quite a lot if anything's on your mind, or you don't feel like you can talk to anyone but you feel like you can talk to someone who you kind of semi feel like you know, not someone that's going to question you or grill you on it. Do you know what I mean? If you want to talk to me, please do. I find that if I spend too long on social media and too long scrolling through Instagram or on my phone, I find it's really damaging. I find I get really anxious, and sometimes just taking a step away from it all, taking a break, turning your phone off or putting it on airplane mode in another room or upstairs while you're downstairs, or just silly things like leaving your phone inside, or whilst you go and eat dinner outside or whatever, leaving it in another room so it's not constantly there, or turning notifications off, hiding people from Instagram who make you feel not good, unfollowing people that do not make you feel good. It's poisonous, it really is, and we're addicted to it. It's a drug that we're addicted to. Social media is horrible and amazing all in one. It's just when it's used correctly, then it is fabulous. So yeah, please talk, please look after yourselves. This video, if it helps one of you, then I think that's a good thing. I think it's important to show that we're not all perfect. No one is. There's no such thing as perfect. We make our own perfect. I just think it's quite nice, like, if I found that someone that I was looking up to or someone I followed on social media was struggling with anxiety, like take Kathleen Lights for example, she does, and watching her videos and like hearing her speak about it really makes you feel like, oh, okay, well you are leading an incredible life and like you're amazing, and yeah, you are struggling with anxiety. It just kind of makes you feel better because you kind of think that there are other people out there and you're not the only one, you know? When people post all this perfect life stuff online and then you get to know actually what else is going on in their life, you know, I really, really believe in that we post 10%, if that, of our lives. I post the cream of the crop, you know? Seriously guys, like I wear makeup if I see friends or if I film. I don't wear makeup throughout the week to work. Once I'm filming, like it's all glamorous and nice and gigging and lovely and see my friends and stuff. But the rest of the time, I'm sat around like a slob editing, and it's not very glamorous. So just, you know, please be very aware that social media isn't real life. Not always. I mean, I like to try and keep mine as real as possible, but anyway, right, I'm rambling. Thank you so much for watching. I don't actually know how long this video is going to end up being, but if you've made it this far, then thank you. Let me know your thoughts on things. Let's talk. This cushion needs to get out of my life. This cushion is giving me anxiety. No, it's not. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please talk about your feelings, because it's very good too. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Please come again. Okay, I was just going to say another thing about like overwhelming myself and giving myself unrealistic expectations of tasks and stuff, and how with, you know, YouTube days uploading, the reason I haven't got an upload day on my profile is because I know what I'm like, and I know that if I say new videos every Sunday and I don't get a video up on a Sunday, I will get too stressed about it and it will not be fun. The reason I do it is for fun and like because I enjoy doing it, not because I have to have a regimented schedule, and I need to make sure that it's something I enjoy. So if I don't get it uploaded on a Sunday, I will do it on a Monday, or you know, if I upload twice a week then I do. If I don't, then it's not the end of the world. If I upload once or if I miss a week, you know. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and it has been helpful in some way. Please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Join the gang, join the fam, and yeah, give this video a like if you liked it, you liked this relaxed style, and yeah, hit the comment section up and let's talk. I love you guys. You've got this. You've literally got this. Have a fab day, night, whatever you're doing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!